We're talking to Aaron Taylor, CBS Sports' college football analyst. Are you okay with the blurry line between objectivity and subjectivity when it comes to this college football playoff ranking system?
Well, here's what we need to know. The context that this is taking place in is that the sport is at the all-time high in terms of popularity. The money is bigger. Everybody is benefiting. And now finally the players are, with their ability to be able to have full cost of attendance and those sort of things. It's starting to become a little bit more of a proportional participation element with the basically what's been the student athlete bill of rights, or I don't even know what you would call it, but the players are benefiting from it. The reality is we're having this conversation right now because people have varying opinions and very strong opinions about what's happening in the college playoffs. So the subjectivity of it is the beauty of it. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it what it is because of the passionate fan bases. So you look at a team like Oklahoma and people go, oh my gosh, how can they be there? What I think the committee does, I think they put teams like Oklahoma up on the chopping block. And if you win, you're in. And you have no more. They put them up there yesterday, so they've got 4 days to prove that Oklahoma deserves to be number one by beating Oklahoma State, who's currently ranked number 11.
Yeah.
If you win, you're in. If not, you lose, you're out, and it's the next man up. So the committee, I think, is somewhat strategic in what they do. But at the end of the day, these polls don't matter. The only one that matters is the final one, and we all know that what happened last year with TCU in the last poll beat Iowa State handily, was ranked number 3, and were placed 3 spots lower by the committee to make room for an Ohio State team that got in and eventually won the national championship.
Yeah, the narrative sometimes gets more important than what we're actually seeing on the field. But you're right. I like how you position that with Oklahoma because that's exactly right. They play in the de facto Big 12 championship this weekend against Oklahoma State. Because whoever wins the actually, it doesn't work that way because Baylor could also play a factor in it. But anyway, it makes for an interesting conversation over the weekend, and these games matter a lot. Your thoughts on the Big Ten, because Ohio State, who obviously worked their way out of it last week, and we heard it from Ezekiel Elliott, they still have a chance. And it's going to take some things to happen, but they still have a chance. Could you see them getting back into it and Urban Meyer getting a chance to repeat?
Well, you're right. They don't control their own destiny. They're certainly going to need Michigan State to be able to lose for that to be able to happen. And they need some other help as well. Here's the deal. I didn't think that Ohio State was that good to begin with. I thought the pressure was getting to them. They were kind of poo-pooing with opponents that they didn't need it to. The consistency that they had a year ago on that offensive line and being able to run the football just hasn't been there this year. And I think a big reason why is because Tom Herman was kind of the glue that kept that all together.
Yep.
And now they're kind of bifurcated, and there's, some challenges with play calling and who's getting what. And I don't think that offense is on the same page. The defense has played pretty well, but the offensive production, the explosive ability that they have offensively just hasn't been there. Michigan State is an interesting team.
Yeah, are they underappreciated or undervalued really? Because they lost to Nebraska by a point, but I mean that was it.
It was a bad loss, and that's the problem. But the fact, you look at their resume. They have wins against a top 20 Oregon, a top 10 Michigan on the road, and granted it was at the last minute, a number 8 Ohio State on the road, granted it was the last minute. And what's interesting about that is that Michigan State never led that game until it was over. They never had a lead. The only lead they had was when the fourth quarter clock said zeros on it. That is amazing how that team has been able to do it. So from that standpoint, Tiki, I think they're very underappreciated. I think Mark D'Antonio, along with Urban Meyer and Nick Saban, are the 3 top elite college football coaches in the country. When you look at consistent, perennial powerhouses year after year, consistency in programs, I think those 3 guys are the 3 best coaches in the country, and because they have the 3 best processes. Now we're seeing what happened with Urban Meyer down at Oregon maybe start to happen here at Ohio State, but I expect the Buckeyes to rebound and play pretty well and actually beat Michigan this weekend. Don't sleep on the Buckeyes. I think the pressure's finally off of them, and I think they play better this weekend and beat Michigan as a result.
Aaron Taylor, CBS Sports college football analyst. He's on the call for Missouri and Arkansas. And I'd ask you about that game, but it's really not a huge game in the big scheme of things. But it is an SEC game. And when you look at this college football ranking, and that's all we're talking about instead of the regular rankings, there's only one team from the SEC that's in the top 10. It's Alabama. Are you surprised by that?
Yes, because the season started out that the two best divisions in college football were the SEC West and the Pac-12 South. And what's happened is Alabama's really the cream of the crop once again, and all the teams that we expected to fare well haven't proven to be as good a teams as we thought they were. What's interesting, Tiki, is that if Alabama loses, Ole Miss would represent the West in the SEC championship game. And I don't know if Florida beat them, particularly with them being in the 12th spot and needing overtime to beat Florida Atlantic last weekend.
and Vanderbilt, they barely beat.
That they would be able to get in. So imagine that if Auburn, and you talk about rivalry games and throwing out the records, there's nothing on tape that suggests that Auburn should be able to beat Alabama this weekend. But if that happens, there is a chance that the SEC could get left out of the college football playoff.
Wow. Can you imagine? Wow. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen for college football playoff's sake. Aaron Taylor, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Missouri, Arkansas, Friday at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Good luck to your Golden Domers as well, as they got to kind of hope that other people falter for them to get in. Be well, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'll light a candle at the grotto for your Cavaliers.
Yeah, right. Let's go. Let's talk baseball and basketball. We have a different story here. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, Aaron.
Hey, you too, T. Take care.